Washington. Pace Supercross champion Jeremy McGrath returns to the motocross wars. His first national since the series opener in Glen Helen. Ricky Carmichael and the 125s are coming up next. Hello, everybody. Art Ekman, David Bailey, and Davey Coombs from a very beautiful Washougal Motocross Park in Washougal, Washington. It's round 9 of AMA Motocross. An absolute picturesque day here in the Cascade Mountains as we take a look at Ricky Carmichael trying to keep his run to the record books intact. Local hero Jason McCormick, Ernesto Fonseca of Yamaha Troy getting ready. Nathan Ramsey's bike. And here's the incredible story. 7-Eleven, Talon Volan, 2 cracked ribs, is back on a bike after sitting out a couple of events. The number 60, Bravo Suzuki's David Pingree getting ready as we take a look at the points. Ricky Carmichael dominating by 99 points over Brock Sellards. Volan, absent for 2 events with those rib injuries, is still in 3rd. Let's go to Davey.
I'm down here on the starting gate at what is arguably the most beautiful motocross track in the world, Washougal. We're getting ready for the first 125 moto. The favorite got to be Ricky Carmichael, 99 points out front. He can't clinch his 3rd championship in a row today, but he can get awful close. The big question mark, however, is number 7-11, Talon Volan, who's just come back from that nasty injury he suffered at Unadilla. This is his first race back. All weekend long, Talon's been looking just a little gun-shy in practice and whatnot, but here in the first moto, he says he's going to let it all hang out.
Taking a look at the track map, you see the start there off to the left, which was changed a few years ago. Now it's an uphill, enters the track, and they head up the big hill. Up to the far right of your screen, that's where there's some new sections. A couple of new corners and a double jump before they head back down the ski jump. The rest of the track is basically the same. Beautiful layout here and tricky soil to read.
Taking a look at the Suzuki starting grid, Ricky Carmichael, our points leader, along with Volan, Michael Brandes of the Primal Suzuki team, and Casey Lytle, Yamaha of Troy. Brock Sellards, FMF Honda, Nathan Ramsey, also of the Pro Circuit team, as we take a look at the other 40 riders in the field. Stefan Roncada is back, Christopher Gossler for FMF, Jason McCormick, the Planet Honda team. Jason, of course, this is his home track. He only lives 17 miles downriver from here in Vancouver, Washington. So the 125's getting set to go now at the gate. Absolute beautiful weather, mid-70s, no humidity here in the Vancouver, Washington, Portland, Oregon area. There's number 7-11. I don't know. I had bruised ribs one time. I didn't even want to blink, David Bailey.
Well, it's very difficult to breathe, and imagine what it feels like to land off these jumps and the chance that you could go down again. I would be pretty nervous in the start. When these guys get together in the first corner, you never know what can happen.
Should be interesting if Ricky Carmichael gets a good start, because Ricky is right on track to break the career win mark in 125 history held by Mark Burnett of 25. He needs 3 to tie. Let's see who gets the whole shot. Carmichael has not gotten a whole shot all year long. It's Christopher Gossler, number 68, the youngster whose father is the mechanic of Ezra Lusk on Team Honda. Gossler just coming off 2 broken heels and is working himself back into shape. Right near Gossler is Brock Sellards, and Ricky Carmichael, he is about 18th.
Terrible start. Tough to pass here, I think, too, Art. From what I've seen so far this afternoon, it's not that rough of a racetrack, so there's not that many places where Rick can really separate himself from everyone else. There you see him going by on the right.
Let's check out the order. Gossler, Sellards, Fonseca, Ramsey, number 80, Matt Walker, a privateer, and that's Buddy Antunez right behind him. Almost slid out right behind him. Buddy Antunez, the Arena Cross champion. Gossler holding on to the lead. Brock Sellards, those within striking distance. And what a pack. Ramsey to the inside of Fonseca. Walker is next, and whoa, exit almost went down there. It's a slick track underneath the smooth-looking surface.
It's very misleading. It looks like great traction. When you get down and dig into it, it doesn't really dig very far. You just dig into a hard-packed, slick surface. We're going pretty far back in the pack here, and we still haven't seen Carmichael.
Roncada, you saw him make the move on Ramsey. It's impressive. Christopher Gosler made his pro debut here at Washougal last year and ended up flying over the bars after taking the hole shot. Gosler, Sellers, and Ramsey are top three. We'll be right back with more 125 action right after these words. Cross is brought to you by Honda Motorcycles and the 1999 Honda Race Team. Honda, ride red. Welcome back. 125 action. First Moto. Brock Sellers and Ernesto Fonseca starting to put the heat on young Christopher Gosler, number 68, out in front. Round 9 from Washougal, Washington. We couldn't get better weather in this area to stage a motocross event, but it is difficult to pass on this track. Brock Sellers now makes his move on Gosler. Sellers, who's been on the podium the last 2 races in a row, takes the lead with Fonseca closely in pursuit.
It was smart for Sellers to jump on that as soon as he could, because he can get Sellers, or Gosler rather, back there, possibly to hold up the show a little bit. He's a rookie and he's fast, but he's a little bit inconsistent as far as lap times go, so could give Sellers a little cushion.
You know, the entire universe is probably watching Ricky Carmichael trying to recover from another poor start. With Brock Sellers out in front now, David Bailey, does kind of take you back to Unadilla where he got a big start, and Ricky Carmichael had to come through half the pack and then took the lead there toward the end of the race.
It reminds me, it's the same scenario, but it's a totally different type of racetrack here. Unadilla is a lot rougher here. It's a freeway. I mean, it's very tricky, but a lot of guys are able to go the same speed, so I think he's going to have a tough time.
Ron Cotta in 4th with Ramsey in 5th as we took a look at our top 5. Still closely grouped up front as Fonseca starting to make his move now on Gosler. Gosler giving way. And Ernesto Fonseca out of Costa Rica is off to one of his finest starts of the year.
This is where I think it's really important for Gosler to keep his cool. It's okay to be passed by a few guys. It's not like he gets the whole shot and runs up here all the time. Ron Cotta taking advantage of him, but he's still got to keep his cool. And he knows that chances are he's not going to be able to beat these guys in a 30-minute moto, but if he can run up there with these guys for a little while, establish a decent pace, he'll finish a lot farther up than he's used to.
And maybe get some good ideas from behind as we take another look.
Check out Ron Cotta. He goes outside. He could just take the main line. That's the fastest way by yourself, but that would leave the outside wide open, which would then be the inside of the next corner. So he goes out, takes the front wheel of Gosler to make that 3rd place pass stick.
Ron Cotta even cuts in front of Fonseca, his Yamaha Troy teammate, as they come through the whoops. The whoop's one of the more popular places to pass on this track because you've got room, but you better be able to negotiate some mighty tall whoops.
It's also a great place for the spectators, so they get to stand there in the shade. All the concession stands are right behind them, and it's the run to the finish right there, too. A lot of excitement.
Terrific location for the fans. Our leader continues to be Brock Sellers. He's looking for his first moto win of the year, even though he's improved steadily in the last few races. There's Bolin. Bolin running pretty tough right now for his physical condition, David.
I think he's riding the way I was suggesting that Gosler rides. Whoa!
Oh, it's Ron Cotta going down. Stefan Ron Cotta hit the deck, and there goes Ramsey. Talon Bolin, 7-11, right in front of him as well.
So you see Talon is taking his time. He's not trying to make anything happen. He's there to get points, and things are starting to happen in his favor.
Talon feeling anything can happen in a points race. Look what happened to him not long ago, being just taken out in one race. Let's go down to Davey in the mechanics area now. Davey.
Down here in the pits, everyone's talking about the fact that Ricky Carmichael hasn't started to move up yet. Let me tell you what he's up against. Mike Craig, Jason McCormick, and Buddy Antunes. Those are probably the 3 most veteran riders in the class. Carmichael's behind them at once. It took him 3 laps to cut through that traffic. He's got a long way to go if he's going to catch Sellers.
Not only that, once he gets by those experienced riders, he's got guys like Fonseca, Nathan Ramsey, and Talon Bolin to deal with once he gets up close.
And look at Bolin coming around the outside. He's got the inside down the drop-off. That's been the popular place.
You think he surprised Ramsey? Nice move by Bolin. Very similar to Ron Cotta's move to make sure he could make the pass stick.
It's tough to pass anywhere unless you can out-brake somebody and go for a little block pass. It's going to take some contact today to really get by somebody that's equal talent.
Shots of the great crowd here at Washougal as we take another look at the pass.
Ramsey had already looked over.
He was expecting it.
Yeah, he knew. Bolin just did a good job of making sure that he didn't have any way to come back in the inside of him in the next corner.
Well, Talon Bolin is truly impressive as far as I'm concerned. A courageous ride with 2 cracked ribs. The lung problems seem to be healed up in 2 weeks.
I think Talon doesn't really care. He's probably not even thinking about it right now. The way he's attacking the racetrack, he just hit that berm so hard right on the power. He actually closed in on Fonseca coming out of that corner where normally the gap opens up. So it doesn't appear to be on his mind much right now. It will be after the moto.
Bolin currently in 3rd as he's chasing down Ernesto Fonseca. Out in front, Brock Sellards continues to lengthen his lead here at Washougal, Washington. A touch of rubber, Talon Bolin. Right in back of him, Nate Ramsey also on the chase. This is the battle for 2nd place. Brock Sellards in the lead in our 125 first moto. Art Ekman, David Bailey, Davey Coombs bringing you the action. Ramsey this time slips the outside on Bolin. Good move.
Beautiful, just beautiful. Actually, Fonseca kind of set a pick. And Ramsey read it beautiful, came around the outside, had the inside in the next corner, and got Bolin right back.
A smart move by the Pro Circuit rider. Take another look.
Well, watch right here. Bolin really should just kind of cut just to the outside of Fonseca and go to the outside and block the line of Ramsey, but he doesn't. He gets held up. Ramsey goes to the outside and has just enough on him. That was great.
And our points leader, Ricky Carmichael, still trying to make his way up through the field. He's not in the top 5 yet. It's Sellards, Fonseca, and Ramsey, our top 3. Can Sellards get a big enough lead? That's what everybody wondered at Unadilla, but he had a horrendous lead at Unadilla, and Ricky Carmichael was able to come back and finally beat him. We'll see if it happens here on a much narrower, harder to pass on track than the famous Unadilla track. Here's Ricky Carmichael making his move now on Talon Bolin.
He has caught this group in a hurry. He's still got to get through them all. He knows that. He doesn't even care about this pack. What he cares about is Sellards out front. He's going to carve through these guys if he can, and he's not going to be nice. He's passed everybody this year with a lot of aggression, and I expect him to do the same here because he's going to have to.
Ricky Carmichael passing McCormick, moving into 5th. Carmichael with 7 wins so far in the year. 13 moto wins in 16 motos. Talk about domination. Right now he's just he's really sweating it though. He's trying to work his way up and has taken a lot of energy here in the opening moto.
Well, he is so aggressive and he wants to win so bad that even if he were to put in an excellent ride and get by all these guys and still get 2nd, he'd still be bummed out in the pits between motos. So he gives it everything he's got. 2nd is just not acceptable to him.
Carmichael still with Bolin to his left.
That's a new line. He goes out and uses that entire bank. He gets away with things that some other guys don't get away with. He sits on the back of the seat a little bit more. He was drag racing up that hill with Bolin hanging off the back. Somebody landed on the banners there. That was close.
Ramsey in 2nd place. Bolin and Fonseca fighting it out. Bolin now into 3rd. What a great pack race we've got going. Fonseca battling it out with Bolin, retakes 3rd place. And Ricky Carmichael just looking for some kind of edge to get through. He powers his way by Bolin in the trees.
He just made him a place. He didn't look for it, he just took it. Put his handlebar right in Bolin's back coming into that corner. Took advantage of those guys focusing too much on each other and made a pass.
Ramsey is still 15 seconds in back of the leader, Brock Sellards.
Now watch Carmichael coming down the inside. At this point, he may not have meant to go in there and run into Bolin, but look at the handlebar right in the back.
Bolin looks around and said, thanks a lot.
Yeah, where'd that come from? He was all worried about Fonseca, and all of a sudden he gets a handlebar in the back, and it's that big number 1 of Carmichael again.
Now Ricky has his sights set on Ernesto.
He's trying to keep that rear wheel down on the ground and get a good drive up this hill. He almost did a little bit too much of a wheelie and had to back out of it.
This track not only slick, but you got to have good power to get up the hills because you don't get great runs on them. And inside the move, Carmichael. Now only Nathan Ramsey between Carmichael and our leader, Brock Sellards.
Looks like he's always able to do something just a little bit extra. When he gets up that hill, Fonseca got up there and held it as tight as he could, and Carmichael was able to hold it about 6 inches tighter, and that was the difference.
Carmichael with 4 races to win 3 and set an all-time 125 career win record. The record currently held by Mark Barnett. Let's go to Davey.
John Nathan looks fantastic out there.
He got a good start and he's riding okay. His times are a little bit off, but he's going pretty fast. He just needs to stay loose and stay smooth, and maybe everything will work out all right.
It looks like Carmichael is moving up there. His teammate, do you think that'll give him an extra little kick to move up there and get after those FMF Hondas?
I certainly hope so. Ricky's always fast. He's a good teammate, so when he comes around, hopefully Nathan will stay with him and we'll get by those guys.
Okay, well,
Plural.
there you get an idea of how dominating Carmichael is in this class. Every guys that are racing with him are going, yeah, well, when he does get around us, like it's just going to happen, we'll try to stay with him. Try. That's how good Carmichael is, and how much intimidation he has on the rest of this field.
So you don't think there's any team orders in pro circuit?
No, the title is pretty much his, as long as he just doesn't have some freak thing happen.
Ramsey moving out a little bit wide. Carmichael looking for the opportunity right now. Powers up the hill. Bar to bar now. Carmichael looks over at his teammate. His teammate looks back to him like, what's going on here?
Yeah, quit looking at me like that. That was a cocky gesture. He's probably trying to have a little bit of fun out there, but he made that pass in the grass. There was no room. I think Ramsey thought he had it covered. Carmichael still found a way and then had to look over to just rub it in a little bit.
So RC moves into second place. Does he have enough laps left to catch the leader? Looks over to Ramsey. Ramsey on the second look. Is that necessary?
No.
I mean,
that's
it's hard to say if they had something going on before, they're joking or something, but it doesn't come off that way.
No, you horse around like that in practice maybe, but in the race, you just don't do it. It's not necessary. It's a demonstration of supreme confidence and talent in this class, but it's bad karma, and that karma will come back and get you every time.
Is the battle for 6th. McCormick, number 36, Planet Honda, getting by Fonseca, number 100. Fonseca, after a good start, is starting to fade a bit. Here's Ramsey. Ramsey trying to catch up now with Roncada. Roncada, as you might remember, went down, got back up, and is currently in 3rd.
Really would like to have seen what Roncada was capable of without all this injuries, and his wrist it actually turned out to be a pretty bum deal. Took a long time to heal, and people were calling him a little bit of a baby and stuff, going, yeah, what's his problem? And I really think that was a problem for him, and he just didn't want to complain about it too much. But now he's showing what he can do.
The battle is on for 5th now. McCormick starting to put pressure on 7-11 Talon Volan. I'm surprised Volan has been able to be as competitive as he has been in this race.
He's got wheels under him and a pulse. I'm pretty sure he's going to go out there and be aggressive. I'm really impressed with his efforts this year. I watched him in Supercross, and I've known about him. I raced against his brother, and I know he's a little bit sporadic, and he was pretty consistent up until that problem in Unadilla, which was really his fault. The way he got hurt. I mean, he fell, that was his problem, but the way he got hit, that's just very rare. And to see him come back like this is a real testimony to his toughness.
Speaking of his brother, Tyson, right there.
Yeah, they are a team. Good to see.
Just remarkable to see him back on the track after such a violent accident. Those of you who did not see it at Unadilla, he slid down underneath the jump. Here goes McCormick. McCormick making the move for 5th place on Talon Volan. But he slipped down, and the riders jumping over on the jump could not see him, and so it was a hit and run situation, and then he was on the ground and got pounded again by the bikes coming over.
Yeah, you fear that, especially on the start a lot of times, but you see guys go down and get missed by everyone. It was just a freak deal the way it happened. I'm glad he's okay and back out there.
So Brack Sellards now, with a little revenge in mind, has held onto the lead till we have the white flag lap. But look at where Ricky Carmichael is. Can Sellards hold Carmichael off this time?
Sellards on the ride of his life. He can hear the people. He can hear Carmichael coming from behind, and Carmichael is on fire. He's going so fast. He's on the edge. He's been on the edge his whole moto trying. He knew that's what it would take to win it, and he's still got a chance.
Carmichael has shaved 7 seconds off in the last 3 laps. And the crowd is going crazy here in the Pacific Northwest. Chad Watts, Ricky Carmichael's mechanic.
Sellards cannot give him an 1/8 of an inch, or he'll take it.
Will Brock stay with a mistake-free race right now to gain his very first Moto win in the 125 Nationals? Coming through a very wicked turning section. Carmichael can't quite get the edge he wanted there. It might come down to that whoop section. Let's check it out. Oh, Carmichael ran into Brock Sellards hard. Sellards recovered. The green fender was out in front just barely, and Sellards has come back. The FMF Honda going through the checkered flag. Brock Sellards wins his first Moto of the season. Unbelievable. Boy, he got hit hard.
Carmichael, you can see it. He set him up, tried to go for the block pass. I guess I would have tried the same thing, but it didn't work. What a
great ride for Ron Cotta, taking 3rd place in that opening Moto. Let's go down to Davey.
All right, Brock, this is it. This is what it's all about. Your first Moto win as a professional.
Yeah, you know, it felt really good. I can't say enough how good my Honda FMF 125 is riding. It is just tremendous out there. It was got me out of the gate good and kept me up there strong. I knew Carmichael would put on a charge, and I had to really push it the last 5 laps, and as hard as I could ride. I mean, he still caught me. He actually made a pass on me, ran into me and passed me, but I out horsepowered him, I think, back through the whoops.
Well, it's been a long season. We've watched you improve with every race. How does it feel to actually finally win a professional race like this? I know you've won a Supercross, but man, this is motocross. This is different.
Well, you know, it's a lot tougher. You got East versus West plus some 250 guys to race against. So, you know, it's a dream come true. You know, if I can win the overall, that's my actual dream. So I'm just glad to finally get a win under my belt.
Congratulations.
Thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
The not-to-be-denied Brock Sellards in good position for the overall. Ricky Carmichael, though, taking 2nd place. Nathan Ramsey in 3rd. Let's go back down to Davey, who's with RC.
I got to tell you, Ricky, you made Brock Sellards earn that first win.
Yeah, he was riding good. I got a terrible start, and by the time I got by everybody, he was so far out in front, I didn't think I was gonna catch him, and I don't know what happened. I just started turning good lap times and reeled him in and tried to get by him in the last turn here before the whoops, and my plan fell apart.
Well, hey, it was a heck of a plan you got right there. Yeah, and I got to tell you, the season goes on, the point lead gets bigger, but you somehow seem to be going faster. It's no let-up in you.
No let-up. I'm just getting frustrated, you know, because I'm getting bad starts, and they're all getting out in front of me, and it takes me forever to get by everybody, and I don't want to let that happen.
I'll tell you what, it's a great charge. Congratulations on 2nd. We'll see you in the next Moto.
All right, thanks.
So it sets the scene for a possible great 2nd Moto of the 125s as we get ready now for the 250s, the big guys. Jeremy McGrath returns to motocross, but these fans would like to see Emig back on top. We'll be back. Albertine coming off 4 straight podiums, leads the points race by 30 over Mike LaRocco, and Kevin Windham still in the battle is Ezra Lusk. Will Jeremy McGrath be a factor in this points race, getting in between the various points winners? Let's go to David.
Well, turns out the rumors were true. Look who's back. Number 15 himself, 6-time AMA U.S. Supercross champion Jeremy McGrath chose this race here at Washougal to end his summer vacation a little early. But I got to tell you, Jeremy picked a hornet's nest to come back into. Easily the most competitive 250 series in years. 6 winners in the first 8 races, 8 Moto winners. McGrath is only going to make it more interesting here at Washougal. I cannot wait to see what happens next.
I'm with you, Davey. I'm excited about this one because I think there's a lot of people on the line right now that think Jeremy can win this one, which is just amazing. He's been sitting out for so long. There's last year's winner, Doug Henry.
Not only that, but he's coming off a 1-1 at Troy, Doug Henry. And this track, I think, lends itself to 4-stroke engines. Here's our points leader, Greg Albertine, getting ready. As we take a look at the starting grid, last year's winner, Henry, of course, Ezra Lusk. Albertine, what a season he's had, especially after declaring, I'm going to win it all this year. LaRocco, Windham, it's great to see McGrath back. And I think he thinks he can win it.
Yeah, I think so, too. I think the question really is that can he go race pace for 2 30-minute motos, and will arm pump be a problem since he hasn't been in that situation in a while?
Jeff Emig, a 2-time winner here at Washougal, has a lot of fans here. But Jeff just hasn't been up to par lately. As we take a look at the starting grid, we have more national Japanese riders in today's field than ever before. Koiketa, of course, is a regular on the circuit, but he's joined by 4 others coming over from the national Japanese circuit. Jeremy McGrath, Randy Lawrence, his mechanic. Took Randy out of his normal schedule this time of the year.
Yeah, I think it's fun for these guys, though. You know, there's really no pressure. If he doesn't win, people are like, well, he hasn't been riding. If he does win, he's just the king.
Wouldn't it be interesting, too, if he got in between the guys that are running for the points race? Jimmy Button getting that 4-stroke ready. This track is so akin to 4-stroke power. And the grab it has. Jeff Emig, a 2-time winner here, getting encouragement from Jeremy Albrecht, his mechanic. Here's Ezra Lusk right next to the doghouse.
He hasn't had the best of luck lately. I'd look for him to have a breakthrough event here. If he doesn't, he can kiss this championship just about goodbye.
Ever since Budds Creek, he's been having all kinds of various problems. Robbie Raynard on the line as we get set. The 32nd board is up. Well, it'll be interesting to see what kind of jump Jeremy McGrath will get. His reaction time after being off so long. Number 15, Jeremy McGrath, right next to Mike LaRocco and Tim Ferry. Whoa, he got a pretty good jump. Henry gets good traction on the outside. Henry gets the whole shot, buddy. Ezra Lusk, number 4, is right there. Kevin Windham, another good start. You'd expect that out of number 14. Jeremy McGrath in 6th spot.
Not bad. It looked like he got an incredible jump out of the gate. Still wasn't good enough for the whole shot.
Right away, we've got a great battle for the lead between Ezra Lusk of Team Honda and Team Yamaha's Doug Henry. Henry winning here last year, coming off a win in the last event at Troy, Ohio. And the two are starting to pull away from the pack.
Henry sensing Lusk coming up on the inside, changed his line. They just about took out our cameraman through that shot.
You can hear the gurgling of the 4-stroke as it cuts through the forest. Just reverberates around the forest area.
The last time I raced here was a 500 National, and I can tell you the roost hurts. It's like sharp rocks hitting you. It's just dirt, but there's something about it that just kills. And I know following that 4-stroke is not fun.
Speaking of power without a roost, Davey's got a guest.
Guys, I want to show you who we ran into up here in the tower at Washougal, none other than multi-time world road racing champion Mick Doohan, arguably the fastest man on the planet. Mick, what brings you out here?
Just out here actually rebuilding the bones. Got an invite to come up here with the old Buck Star guys. And thought it was too good of an opportunity to knock back, and it's a very impressive outfit out here.
What do you think of the Motocross Nationals in America so far?
No, as I said, it's impressive. Good to see that Jeremy McGrath is here. That was an added bonus, and no, really looking forward to watching some of the racing.
Mick Doohan, 5-time 500 GP world champion. And he did his tall amount of motocrossing as a kid and dirt biking in Australia.
That all helps and translates a little bit into the road race scene, picking lines. And the way they ride those things now are, I mean, they don't have both wheels drifting. They're not going fast enough. It's crazy.
It looked like when I talked to him, David, that he's right on schedule of getting back on the GP circuit. Right now, it's Doug Henry, Ezra Lusk, and Kevin Windham, our leader in Moto number 1 of the 250s.
AMA Motocross is brought to you by Mazda. Mazda, get in, be moved.
We're back to 250 action here at Washougal Motocross Park, and our leader, not by much though, is Doug Henry, the defending champion. I thought this was a good bike tour for Doug. The battle is on for second place though. Ezra Lusk has teammate Kevin Windham, number 14, right on his tail.
Looks like Kevin is being patient right now, but it just seems like here and there he's got a little extra speed, and he's just trying to be nice about it and be patient. He knows there's time left, and as long as these guys are right in front of him, I don't think he'll panic. But he looks like he's got a little something extra.
You know, with the power of the 4-stroke, David Bailey, it's not going to be easy to get around Henry on this track.
But you can be smart, outthink him, get him going one way, take the outside a few times and cut back to the inside, and you know, plus forcing somebody into a mistake as well. Look how slippery it is. These guys are dancing all around. Kevin's sitting down a lot more. He sits down all the way through the air off jumps. There's a corner before the whoops where he sits down the whole way. I love that. He's making up time on everybody through there.
Behind Kevin Windham and making some moves is Larry Ward. Larry, after a very difficult season, good time for him to get back into the action.
He's running the pace. He's staying just out of their roost. Not really able to capitalize on any small mistake by the distance he's got back there, but he's still in contention.
The mechanics busy riding on their boards as the riders come out of the trees, and then they'll go down that long loop section before a chance to see the mechanics board. Wyndham makes a great outside move.
That's the section. He sits down all the way through there, keeps that traction, kind of stays like Scott Parker out there on that high side of the seat, looking up.
And so Les drops back to third with Larry Ward. Let's take another look, David.
Well, actually, Ezra had blown it coming out of that corner, couldn't get over this double, so that's what allowed Kevin to get up close. This rode right around the outside of him while Ezra was trying to protect the inside. Look at that. He stays sitting down right through the air, foot out, back on the power, hooking up.
Well, there wasn't much room to prevent him from going over that berm.
No, the banners are right there. You gotta hook up. You slide a little bit, you're off the track.
So Kevin Wyndham, number 14, now in second place. You get the feeling that Kevin Wyndham is really the only rider that's going to make a big move on Albertine as far as the points race is concerned, because Kevin has been very consistent in the last 5 races.
Well, I like the fact that his starts are good. And if there's any trouble, he's going to be in front of it. Usually, that seems to be the percentages. And I really thought it was Lusk earlier in the year that was going to get it nailed. He was the one that seemed to want it the most. And I don't know, it's not coming together for him, and it seems like Kevin is the one that seems to keep getting a little bit better each week.
John Dowd just going over the hill. And there goes Albertine. So Albertine's quite a ways back. LaRocco is right in back of Albertine. Davey.
Thanks, Sergeant David. You guys might have noticed earlier, number 982 up there, Akira Narita, one of the Japanese riders. 5 Japanese riders have qualified for the main event here at Washougal. The reason they're here, they're on summer vacation over in Japan. It's too hot to race. It's monsoon season, so they'll come over here for a little seasoning. Usually we only have Kolokito, number 30, but this time 5 Japanese riders. That's probably as many as any state in America that's represented here at Washougal.
Here's Albertine, number 8, Team Suzuki, with Mike LaRocco, the runner-up in the points race behind him. He is currently in 10th position, but he's a long way from the leaders right now, David.
No, but he's actually got a pretty good pace going, though. It's too bad he didn't get the start he was hoping for, because it's such a big pack out front. It's exciting stuff. It's going to come down to the wire. Albie's a little bit out of contention right now, but the last couple laps seemed like he gained just a little bit on that group.
Lusk, there's Ward in 4th, and then Jeremy McGrath. You know, you can understand why he raced at Glen Helen. His sponsor, Chaparral, is just down the road, but coming here to Washougal, that's interesting to see why he might be riding here. Let's go to Davey, who's with Randy Lawrence.
All right, Randy, how's it feel to be back on the job?
It's fun. I mean, Jeremy came out because he's kind of tired of sitting at home, so we know he's here because he wants to be. He's running 5th right now, right on Larry Ward. Nobody's really getting away, so he's got the speed. He's been riding a little bit, so we'll see how his conditioning is by the end of the moto.
So Randy Lawrence even with the question mark, but gosh, he's doing well. He's picking up time on Larry Ward in the battle for 4th place. In fact, McGrath cuts to the inside on number 7, and he picks off that 4th place spot.
It took a little contact to get it done, but that's what it takes out here. Just down the inside, drifts out into his line just a little bit. I don't think he really meant any harm there, but gasses it away. Moves up a spot, so that's looking good. Randy will have a little bit bigger smile on his face now.
So with Ward moving back a notch, he's got Jimmy Button and another Yamaha 4-stroke to his rear.
These guys are all starting to gain a little ground on Lusk. He was in that battle with his teammate Kevin for a little while. Now it's either he's faded slightly or these guys have picked it up. Maybe a little bit of both.
A wonderful crowd here on this beautiful track. Oh no, Jeff Emig definitely with a problem. And he's a long way away from the pits. We'll be right back with Moto number 1 of 250 action. Columbia River from Portland, Oregon and Vancouver, Washington. Truly a beautiful track. And boy, we've seen some great racing so far here today.
It's unbelievable. Oh, Ward has a little problem right there, just getting into that corner, but they're all pretty evenly spaced, and McGrath is in the hunt. He's there with the leaders. Must feel pretty good to sit out that long, come right back into it.
And Albertine is starting to pull up on that outside group.
He had LaRocco in tow with him. Losing a little bit of time, but still, I mean, you can hear how hard he's charging.
Mike LaRocco, number 3, taking Unadilla with a 1-2 action, and Ezra Lusk is down. So more hard luck for the rider from Bainbridge, Georgia.
From the looks of his visor, he went down hard. That's one of the fastest sections on the racetrack after the big uphill. They're fourth gear through that sweeper. See the dirt on his shoulder.
Dan Bentley from the Honda crew right there with him, along with the medics.
That's the same basics. That's about 50 feet past where Emmett is on the side with the hood up. So these guys dropping out. It's too bad for Ezra. He's in that points chase, and now it's looking like the title slipping away.
So the battle is on right now with Jimmy Button and Jeremy McGrath, two former Chaparral teammates.
This ought to be interesting. I don't think Jeremy's probably having fun up till now. I can't let Button get by.
Jimmy used to live with Jeremy for a spell. Pacific Northwest fans are really excited that McGrath chose Washougal to make a rare summer appearance. Jeremy was itching to get back, and the good sign, he's still got butterflies.
It's been 2 months since I've raced these guys, so, you know, I got to get a little nervous. If I wasn't nervous, I probably shouldn't be here. You know, I've been being a normal guy for a couple months now, so that keeps me pretty busy. I want to get back out here and do something a little more fun. I definitely miss it, and doesn't mean I'll come back full time. I need some weeks at home, but, you know, I'm ready to race.
This week's appearance for Jeremy McGrath doesn't mean he plans on attending all the remaining races, but it does show that he still has fun at it, and he doesn't want to get too removed from the sport.
We had the summer cross a few weeks ago, and, you know, I was riding a little bit before that race, and kind of having a lot of fun. You know, it's really hot at home right now, so it's not the best time to ride, and I was still having fun.
Always one to set lofty goals, Jeremy never rules out the possibility of winning, but realistically, he expects a decent performance.
So of course, I'd love to win. You know, I've been riding a little bit. We tested with the bike a little bit. I'd like to definitely win a moto. I mean, I think I'm very capable of that. I'd say realistically, maybe top 3.
In any case, he realizes there's a points race going on and doesn't want to interfere or cause a problem.
Yeah, I hope I don't really get in there and screw with Greg or anyone, you know, for the championship. It's, you know, I'm here to race. I want to do the best I can.
Whether it be the cooler weather, good timing with his busy vacation schedule, or just wanting to have some fun on the bike, Jeremy's return to the track has been a fan's delight. It's a winning situation for all.
Back to the action. You know, David Bailey, I almost found these very loyal Northwest fans feel a sense of privilege that he chose Washougal to come back. They really love it. They don't have too many races in the Pacific Northwest. Of course, we have the Seattle Supercross and this, and so it's really the one opportunity they get to see AMA National Motocross.
Well, 5-time world champ Mick Doohan was privileged to be at a race and have the surprise of Jeremy showing up. He didn't know that was going to happen, and he's pretty stoked about it. That should be an indication right there of what the rest of these people feel.
Lusk is up, looking like he is not going to put on the goggles now, as he's going to ride back to the pits. And so there'll be no points for Ezra Lusk here at Washougal in the first moto anyway. A sad situation as far as Team Honda's championship hopes are concerned, especially after the injury to Sebastian Tortelli when he was leading the points race. The battle for third. Jeremy McGrath, Jimmy Button. Button has the edge, and Jimmy Button able to pass Jeremy back in the woods.
It was a finesse little section too, someplace where I would have thought Jeremy would have been able to hold his own, but Jimmy really played it smart. He actually squared the straightaway off and had the inside line into the corner. Got in there, made it. Looks like Jeremy could have maybe got back in there, but not quite enough room. Jimmy had just enough.
So Jimmy Button looking good. Let's go to Davey.
Brian, I don't know what's going on with Jimmy Button. Maybe Jeremy's lit a fire under me. You guys are running third.
Yeah, well, he was telling me earlier that he really didn't want Jeremy to be able to beat him. He's been off for a little while. Jimmy's been riding real hard, so he's got a little bit of extra encouragement. He's out there doing a good job. Let's hope we can put it to and see what we can do next moto.
Our leader is still Doug Henry with Kevin Winneman second, but Jimmy Button has just moved into third around Jeremy McGrath. And here comes Larry Ward, and his teammate Greg Albertine has made up a lot of time with LaRocco in tow. So we might have a very tight finish here for first place amongst 4 or 5 different riders.
Got a lot of two-way battles, and Kevin has really put the pressure on Doug. I think the fact that we got a 4-stroke in first and another one in third, they might have some indication that those suckers are hooking up out here. Look at the gap that Doug just got right there in that straightaway. So there's places where Kevin's better, but that 4-stroke is definitely working good.
And that area he just went through is always known as being a very, very slippery area. We saw Raynard really go for a ride there a couple of years ago.
Listen to how hard Kevin is on the power and just soaking up that roost all the way through there. That's got to be hurting.
And some more bad news for John Dowd. Brian Barry, his mechanic, talking things over. Throws the hands in the air. Can Henry hold on? The run for the checkers when we get back. Oh, what timing to go to a commercial break. Kevin Windham, though, got up close to him and take another look at the pass.
Down the inside. He'd come around the outside of that long left-hand sweeper approaching this right-hand corner. Had the line and just gassed it away. It already opened up a little gap. And I think, I'm sure he was riding as hard as he could, but he may have held back slightly so that when he did make a pass, Doug couldn't retaliate, wouldn't have time.
Well, they were getting into a series of lapped riders as well, and so the strategy there had to be mapped out by Kevin Windham before he made a move. Now can Henry come back? Henry right on the tail of Kevin Windham.
He has studied everything Doug has done this whole moto, so you ought to know what lines he needs to take to keep from giving him an opportunity to get back by him.
Looks like Doug Henry just is waiting to use the power.
Well, now he's going to get a little dose of that roost out here.
We go back in the pack a little bit, check out a couple of ultra cross riders of Pace Motorsports, and they get tangled up together. Austin Squires and Donald Upton.
Watch, Squires comes in, watch the front wheel goes right through the berm. So it looks to me like Upton would have an opportunity to make a pass right there, but the Squires squares it back across, kind of T-bones him from the outside.
Let's see now if we can get a clarification of the Ezra Lusk situation. Let's go down to Davey in the mechanics area.
Mike, we saw Ezra come around. Looks like he had a bunch of dirt on his shoulder. Big crash in the back.
Yeah, apparently he went down back there someplace. I don't know what really happened. It was kind of unfortunate. We're hoping to do pretty well here the last few races and kind of have to regroup.
Back out front, the lappers are looking back, and they've got good reason to look back. The battle is on once again. Henry, Windham going bar to bar. Back and forth we go for the lead.
That's the corner where Kevin took the lead. Henry right back at him. Henry is just all of a sudden, I mean, he just showed up at Troy, and he has been a factor.
Kevin Windham, the winningest rider on the tour with 3 victories so far this year. His last moto win was the opener in Redbud. And Doug Henry, as we mentioned prior, just coming off a sweep at Troy.
They got that 4-stroke so dialed to get through those tight switchbacks.
Henry regains the lead. Oh, this is a great battle. Now, how do you play it with the riders in front of you, especially coming through the whoops? It'll widen out a little bit. Henry's going to scrub Windham off of one of them, I think.
I think Windham might just be caught a little off guard. He probably thought, as the white flag, when he went by Henry for the lead, that was going to be that, if he just kind of held his line and didn't make a major mistake. And Doug just muscled his way back by.
On the final lap, still a bang-bang play, we expect. And Jeff Emig, I think he left the bike out there.
Yeah, that's the farthest place from the mechanics area to break down. Just been an awful year. Every time, I mean, he's been putting out the effort. You know, in Supercross, people thought, well, maybe he just came in unprepared. I mean, it seems like he's really been making the effort, been riding aggressive, but it just hasn't been coming together for him. He was actually in contention that moto. He was up in there, could see the leaders, and bike problems.
Henry looking for his 3rd straight moto win. What would the season have been like if Henry started the season in competitive form? We've got word now that Davey Combs is with Jeff Emig. Let's go down to Davey.
Jeff, tough break. Tell us what happened.
I got a pretty good start finally. Got what I asked God for, you know. I said, you know, just get me a good start. Get me up there, top 5. I was running pretty good, and I kind of started feeling like that the engine was slowing down a little bit. And it took it about 3 or 4 laps maybe, but it finally just slowed down and locked up. We don't know what happened to it.
It seems like you can't get anything to go right this year.
Hey, they can have the rest of the year. I want it to go right next year, you know what I mean?
The fans are going crazy. Doug Henry, very popular here. out in front of Kevin Windham. It's going to come down to that last shoot right down the whoop section. Can Henry hold on for his third consecutive Moto victory? One lapper in front of them. Windham trying to get equal to the four-stroke. Can't do it. Henry makes the corner. Here comes Windham. The checkers are flying, and Henry wins by a half bike length. Well, after two fantastic motos here in Washougal, we'll be right back to hear from our winners. Back at some of the highlights in our 250 Moto number 1. Doug Henry got out of the gate great, getting the whole shot. The battle then was for second place between Ezra Lusk and his teammate Kevin Windham, who really put on the speed around that outside berm to take over second place and would get up and challenge, while Lusk went down. No points scored in the Moto. Jeremy McGrath, his return was very successful, but right here, his former roommate and former teammate Jimmy Button on the four-stroke moved into third place. The battle out front was intense. Kevin Windham getting an edge on Doug Henry, and then the four-stroke of Yamaha with Doug Henry on board taking the slight edge before the whoop section and the finish line and the checkers. Particularly significant for Doug Henry in that his first win after back surgery was right here at Washougal. Henry, Windham, and Button the top three, with Albertine moving up to fourth, a very important sixth for Larry Ward in front of Laraco. Let's go down to Davey Coombs.
Man, after last week, I thought I'd seen it all, but you just continue to do it. 3 in a row. Congratulations, Doug.
Thanks a lot, Davey. My Yamaha worked great out there. Just came out a good start and just rode the best I could. Kevin and I had a good battle. He got me at one point. I kind of ran into some lappers and he passed me, and then I worked around him with some lappers, so it was a good close race out there.
What's with this late season comeback? You've been riding so well the last few weeks. Where's it come from?
I don't know. I guess my injuries are starting to get, kind of disappear, and I'm able to train a little bit more. I don't know.
John R, 'cause you missed last week.
Yeah, John R didn't get to see me win last week, so wanted to win it for him. He does our suspension.
Well, it's great to see the number 1 up there again, Doug.
All right, thanks.
With Doug Henry winning and number 14 Kevin Windham in second, Windham picks up points on both the points leader Albertine and Laraco. Let's go back to Davey Coombs.
Kevin, we were watching out there. You're behind Doug. It looks like you're eating a lot of dirt. You got a fat lip and everything.
Yeah, man, I wore this roost guard underneath my jersey and, wore a little nose piece and all, but still being behind that 400 all moto, man, it was just killing me. I just feel my lips swelling as we speak right now, but I feel like I just won a couple rounds with Tyson, but it was a good moto. I was happy. Bike was working great. Doug just has been getting a lot of good starts lately, and, he's tough to pass.
After a few weeks of kind of being off that winning pace, looks like you're right back up there. How'd you get it back on track?
Well, I spent a lot of time with Jeff Stanton this week, and just went back and tried to relax and kind of resituate the whole game, and to see where I might have been slacking and where I was doing good, and it helped me out a lot. I think I was relaxed all week and came here, and I'm really relaxed today. Looking forward to Moto 2. You
get behind that Yamaha again, you gonna do anything different?
Well, I'm gonna certainly try to pass him a little earlier, man. That roost is killing me out there, but you can't take anything away from him. I think here in the last 2-3 races, he's really been coming into his own. He's riding good, and I don't think either one of us really did anything wrong all race. It's just it was one of those tracks where I couldn't really get under him. The one time I did, he got me right back, and that's the way racing goes. Gotta love it.
In third place, it's the first time he's been atop a podium in the top 3. Jimmy Button came all the way from 10th. Let's go right back down to Davey.
Jim, I know you think it's about time, but I got to tell you, I think having your old roommate around lit a fire under you.
Yeah, I'm sure a lot of people are thinking that little rivalry between us or whatever, but I just got to say my hat's off to Yamaha and Bridgestone tires. I didn't get out of the gate very good, but bike made up for it on the start. Didn't get too bad of a start, and then that 400 power, helped me up the hills quite a bit. Bike's working great, everybody at Yamaha. I'm just I'm stoked to finally, ride like what they had anticipated I could ride like for, the whole year, but it's taking a little bit. But hopefully we'll go out and back it up the next moto.
When you got up behind McGrath, it looked like you picked up the pace. You guys, that was a pretty good dogfight.
Yeah, I came over one of the jumps earlier in the race, and I saw MC a few bikes ahead of me, and I said, I said, I got to beat him. I got to get him. I got to get him. And I just kept pushing it and pushing it. And I was glad he was up there because he was, you know, gaining on the guys ahead of him, and I was gaining on him, and it you know, helped me get to the front. And hopefully I can just get a good start next moto and ride the same way I did and get this Yamaha up on the podium.
If he does, that would make 7 different winners in 9 races of 250 action. The 125's coming up next.
At a standstill, it might be compared to other sport bikes. At top end, it might be compared to other sport bikes. But at each and every mile per hour in between, comparisons become insignificant specks in the mirrors. The TL1000R, the only one of its kind on the track, from Suzuki.
Tail lights like glue on the corners and it's hung in tight. It's got a rag top and a contoured hood. She goes up, and she's rocking. Let's go! The 1999 Mazda Miata. Set it free, and it'll return the favor.
Yaffa blocks.
Interlocks.
Yaffa blocks.
Stacking blocks.
Yaffa blocks are like furniture.
Better.
Interlocking storage blocks.
Stack any which way. Stack them right up to the ceiling like 2 skyscrapers.
Snap on a Yaffa closet rod.
Wow! An instant closet.
Throw your stuff into the Yaffa block drawers.
Poof! Your room is spotless. Go Yaffa.
1-800-GO YAFFA at Linens and Things.
What sets some people apart? Gives them the confidence to succeed on their own terms. It's no secret, it's the Wall Street Journal. Now you can have that confidence delivered for 13 weeks at just $36.75, just 57 cents a day. That's a 25% savings off our regular rate, which makes now a great time to try this limited time offer.
Call now, 800-248-1300. That's 800-248-1300 for the Wall Street Journal.
AMA Motocross is brought to you by Suzuki. During Suzuki Fest 99, get $400 of free accessories and great financing on selected models.
Welcome back as we look forward to Moto 2 of the 125s. Art Ekman, David Bailey, Davey Coombs, bringing you the action from Washougal, Washington. It is round 9 of AMA Motocross. David Pingree getting ready now at the gate. We checked out earlier Brock Sellers, the winner of the first moto. Here's Planet Honda's Jason McCormick, who lives in Vancouver, Washington. Boy, does he have the local fans cheering for him.
We saw in the first moto how important that start can be, and the best place to pass looks like coming down off the ski jump into that tight left-hand corner. Let's go back down to Davey now.
Well, Brock Sellers has been telling us his goal this year is to get a win from Ricky Carmichael before Ricky moved to the 250 class. First moto, he finally got his wish. First win of his career as an AMA Pro National rider. However, you got to think that in the second moto, Carmichael's going to come out firing. We've seen it before this year. Ricky loses the first moto, comes out the killer instinct in the second moto. I got to think if Carmichael gets a good start, Brock's going to have his hands full. So are the other 38 guys out here.
Carmichael has swept 5 races, but the other times that he hasn't swept, he's always won the last moto. 32nd board is up.
Well, if you got any money to put on this thing, you have to put it on Carmichael. The guy's just been unbelievable, and as soon as you get him mad, he's even faster.
The start is so big here on this track. As we check it out, there you see him just to the left of your screen. Ricky Carmichael getting boxed out again big time. Brock Sellers, number 27. He's got the whole shot. Carmichael is in trouble again. He's at least in 22nd, 25th position. Brock Sellers out in front with Talon Bolin in second place. Nothing but red up front.
Huge opportunity for Sellers and McCormick. A decent first moto. He's up in there this time.
So Sellers gets the whole shot after winning his first moto in the opener. Can he win his very first national as they start to take away all the banners?
Like
number
Buddy,
54 is Buddy Anthony,
yeah,
right?
It looked like maybe Kelly Smith caught up in that crash. So they got a long ways to go.
See if we can spot Carmichael.
He's just buried in the pack. And they have watered the track a little bit because it's dried up. It's hard to see. It starts to get dusty, and it's hard to pick your way through the pack as good as he did the first moto.
FMF Honda's Brock Sellards and Implanted Honda's McCormick. McCormick goes to the inside as they go into the woods. Jason McCormick, the local hero, has taken over the lead. Oh my goodness, this will be a great race.
Boland's right up in there too, and since he's not in it for the title, he may be ordered to help out Sellards just a little bit.
Well, he's a grand professional. There's no question about that. Brandis is behind the 3 Hondas.
Maybe that's the only way you can beat Carmichael is to team up on him.
Yeah, I hope he goes down. McCormick, Sellards, Boland, then Brandis, and David Pingree, the 2 Primal Suzuki riders, rounding out the top 5. Brock Sellards does not need to be in first place to win the overall here, but he can't let Carmichael by him.
He just has to make sure that his pace is what it should be. It's not
to make it too easy for him.
Well, sometimes you get behind somebody and think, oh, this is pretty good, but if you were out front, you could go even faster. You cannot afford to slow down one bit because Carmichael, as he's done all year, will find his way up there in the end, and he'll T-bone you if he has to get by.
We were talking about Brock Sellards wanting to beat RC, Ricky Carmichael, but I would think number 36, Jason McCormick, would have even a more revengeful feeling after Unadilla, where he had a horrendous lead. Ricky Carmichael starting way back, and yet Jason McCormick lost that one to Ricky in the later stages of the race, holding on to second place. Alan Boland, 7-11 in third place. I asked him with 2 cracked ribs, why are you coming back?
Well, I'm born and bred a racer, you know, and I always want to come back and do my best. You know, I know that probably the championship's over with Ricky because of missing 4 motos. He's really scored a lot of points. But, you know, if I can get the second, you never know what can happen. Obviously, I'm not going out to win today, but just to get some points and get some results.
Without the advantage of videotape, what does he remember about the incident?
I actually hesitated before I went to the bike because I wanted to see, and the first couple of guys had missed me, so I assumed that they could see me just on the other side of the jump. So I went ahead and picked the bike up, and just as I got it up, another rider from the back of the pack came straight over and just plowed me, and that really didn't hurt me that bad, but the next guy ran me over, and that hurt pretty good, and the last guy just landed right on my ribs and really knocked the air out of me, and that crushed me.
It's not the kind of injury that finds you going to a comedy club.
Yeah, obviously, you know, my biggest fear was sneezing, and even now it still hurts so bad. I don't think they're actually broke so bad because I don't think I would be here riding, but they got a couple of small cracks, and they still irritate you, and they give you a lot of pain.
What does this gladiator expect of himself here at Washougal?
I just tape up a bit, and I ride within my means, try to get the points, and, you know, it's a professional sport. I'm a professional rider, and I do what I can, and I always try to do my best, and that's what I'm here doing this weekend.
Doing a pretty good job of it. 6th in the opener and 3rd in this second moto. He's not just there for points. He's really competing hard, even though he almost lost it there. Michael Brandis, number 49, right behind Talon Volan. We'll see how long he can last in this moto.
Well, you know, when the title's not within your grasp, it's hard to stay focused and motivated, really. So that's the big challenge.
He's shown us how slick this track can be if you don't square up properly. Brock Sellards, number 27, in back of McCormick. McCormick, our leader, with Talon Volan in 3rd, and Michael Brandis looking like he wants to make a pass from 4th.
Good luck. It's tough to pass Talon.
Especially when you're not quite sure where he's going. Jason McCormick, Brock Sellards, Talon Volan, our top 3. We'll be right back with more Moto 1 of 125 action after this. The top 3 within 5 seconds of one another. Let's maybe check out how far back Ricky Carmichael might be at this point. There's Fonseca, number 100. Still no Ricky Carmichael. There's his teammate Nathan Ramsey going through. Ron Cotta. Ricky Carmichael 23.87 seconds behind the leader. And Brock Sellards, as well as Jason McCormick, are pulling away from that number.
That's going to be tough. The first moto, I could see how you have an opportunity, because he could see those guys after about the 4th or 5th lap. He wasn't just looking at the pit board. He'd look across the racetrack in certain areas and see those guys and know that he's making ground. Now they're out of sight. And that's tough to stay motivated.
Could this be the first race that Ricky has not won a moto at? The ramifications of this might not be as much as far as the points race is concerned, but getting that career 125 win record. Davey Coombs is with Chad Watts right now in the mechanics area. Let's check in with Davey.
Chad, another bad start for Ricky. Tough break. This might be an even deeper hole to dig out of.
Yeah, it's definitely a deeper hole because he got a bad start and he slid out. And he was in about 8th when he slid out, but he went way back. And right now he's in about 15th, but I don't know what's going to happen.
If it's any consolation, I think that Sards already knows where he's at. They're already thinking about Ricky. In fact, as mechanic Dean Gibson put on the board Ricky's position. You don't often see that this early in a moto.
Nah, you don't, but that's their strategy. So, wait and see.
I get the impression he doesn't really agree with that strategy.
Yes, I get the same impression. So Ricky Carmichael fighting from a deep hole this time as Jason McCormick out in front. And
Wow.
Jason has got great timing on this track.
He just blasted through that berm. Box the rear wheel up in the air right there. It's a habit from a lot of the riders to try to drop that front end down a little bit in case they get it too high. It's the only way to do it. You lean forward all you want. That front end's not going to drop unless you stop one of those wheels, and that gyro just throws all the weight.
Jason had at least a 23-second lead at Unadilla, but Ricky Carmichael caught up. But this is a different track. It's Jason McCormick's home track. He's run it 1,000 times. He's got the crowd with him. There's all kinds of reasons why Jason might react a little differently here today.
We can hear him. He's got that Planet Honda just taped all the way up that section, pulling away.
David Pingree, the Primal Suzuki, in a battle for 4th place. And it's Nick Way, number 23, involved in the battle with Pingree.
Getting showered with that roost, turn away. We can't follow anybody up that hill. I followed a 500 up that hill last year. I raced here and got hit in the face. It knocked the lens out of my goggles. I had a black eye during the race. I can relate to Kevin Windham's fat lip.
Well, as I remember correctly, too, you also get a #1 plate at Washougal.
Couldn't win any motos up there, but I got the championship.
Pingree holding his own right now with Nick Way right behind him. And the number 35 is Lance Smale out of the Pacific Northwest on the KTM.
Putting in a fine ride.
Lance, of course, with a couple of 4-stroke championships under his belt. But he likes that 125 KTM.
He's making it look good in this group he's riding with. These guys are on a fast pace. Trying to catch this guy. I don't think they're going to do it. He is dialed into this racetrack. Everywhere he's riding, he's in a great line. Coming down the inside right there, dodging a couple of holes. Right into that berm. Listen to the power. He's already on the gas as soon as he hits the berm.
Jason McCormick coming up on a lap rider right before the whoop section.
I had the same advantage whenever I rode at Lake Sugar Tree. I won that national. Everyone's going, that's no fair. It's about the same situation for him. It's a hometown track. He knows just by the color of the soil, that's a slick spot. He knows to dodge it. He knows when to get on the gas, when to feather it a little bit. And that's a huge advantage.
At Unadilla, McCormick had about 99% of the fans cheering for Carmichael, which probably didn't help much. You could hear him coming. McCormick, Sellards, and Brandis are top 3. Ricky Carmichael has moved into the top 10 in the 9th position. We'll be right back. Time running out for Ricky. Femick with the green flag to the checkers. Jeff would win the moto. Number 8, Mike LaRocco in a Suzuki rode strong and placed 2nd in the opener, setting himself up for a possible overall. In Moto 2, the first moto winner, Jeff Emig, was back in the pack, while LaRocco working his way up through the field into 2nd by passing number 6, Larry Ward. LaRocco would battle with number 15, Doug Henry, but never pass him. Henry winning his first moto since the broken back accident, but a 2-2 finish would give LaRocco his lone 250 overall in 96. Back to the action now, 1999. Talon Volan trying to hold off Ricky Carmichael. Carmichael has really been pouring on the fuel. It's the battle for 6th place.
See him dodging that roost and using that far inside rut right there. I have no idea how he's stuck in that groove. I talked about that before, how they start another berm with the rut that they use from their foot. That's what he did there. Whoa! Talon gets off the line there, goes off the racetrack. I think Ricky forced him into that corner a little hotter than he's been going in, and he couldn't hold it.
Currently in 6th. The superhuman as Ricky is on at 125. David, I just don't think he's got the time or the number of laps left.
It's looking impossible right now, but you never know.
Well, one thing about Ricky Carmichael, he never gives up. Let's get another look.
Watch what happens right here. Ricky's going to hit the berm right here and just square it across. Talon's trying to protect the inside, but he can't hold it. Drifts wide. See Ricky? Cuts right to the inside. He had that pass made either way. Talon did a pretty good job to stay on the racetrack. If he'd have gone out through those banners, he'd still be there.
And, of course, for Ricky, it's not only 5th place, but he wants to put himself in front of Brock Sellards and maybe put a rider or two in between the two of those for points reasons.
Yeah, he makes me nervous, too, the way he reaches up, fiddle with his helmet or tear off, whatever it is he's doing. He reaches up at some time, but that was a wide open sweeper, bumpy. Handlebars could start jiggling and you're down. Look at that rock rolling. Almost rolled right into the berm. You hit that and you're down as well. There's so many little adjustments you have to make out there, a split second.
Carmichael looking for his 3rd win at Washougal, but it doesn't look very good right now. We asked him before the race about the track.
I like Washougal. It's good today. I prefer it to be a little bit hotter, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen. But at any rate, I want to have fun and try to knock the bomber off the totem pole.
Boy, that'd be a great fantasy race, wouldn't it? Mark, the Bomber Barnett and Ricky Carmichael.
Two of the most aggressive guys I've ever seen in this class. I mean, there's the Jeff Wards and the Johnny O'Maras and the Brock Lovers, but as far as aggressive and just determined and domination, you got Carmichael and Barnett. That would have been something.
Barnett, 3 of his 25 wins right here at this track. Carmichael to the inside on Nick Way.
There was no place to get by right there. He just made it happen. That's what I'm talking about. And then it goes right back to the inside there to make sure Nick had no opportunity to get back by.
Lots of rebound there as Ricky Carmichael has moved into 4th.
Now he's still riding as hard as he rode the first moto. He's going so much faster than everybody, but like Davey said, he dug a pretty deep hole.
Well, and Jason McCormick out front has done the right thing, and he's just taken off. He is not relaxed. He's taking that Unadilla experience and putting it to use on his home track as we take a look at Michael Brandes.
I'm just creeping along that inside of that off camber. Don't want to grab a handful of throttle right there too quick, or you're down.
Brandes in the top 5. He's had 1 podium on the year. Let's go to Davey.
Chad, man, is Ricky riding aggressive? We just watched that pass on Nick Way. He is totally charging.
Yeah, I wish this was like NASCAR. He got points for passing. We'd have a heck of a lead, but unfortunately it's not. But he is passing a lot of guys. He's making up a lot of ground. It's just a matter of time.
You think he's still got a chance to get Sellards?
I don't know. Even if he passed Sellards, we still wouldn't get the overall. We got to win the moto.
That's what he's got in his mind as Ricky Carmichael now puts Michael Brandes in his sights. It's the battle for 3rd.
They're approaching the mechanics area, and I'm sure he's letting Ricky know that that's what he's got to do, which probably seems like an overwhelming task. Can't even see McCormick from here.
McCormick is just checked out. I'm not sure Ricky's even seen him.
No, I don't think he can. You can see every once in a while he'll look across the track to another section to see if he can get him in sight, but I guarantee you can't see him.
So just beating Brock Sellards in 2nd place would not give Ricky Carmichael the overall he needs in his quest for the most 125 wins in a career.
The frustrating part for Ricky probably at this point is that he's so much faster than most of the guys out here. Not to put Michael Brandes down or any of these guys that he's working his way around, but when he gets behind him, it holds him up. And that just takes away from his opportunity to catch the leader.
And we've mentioned time and time again, too, David, that it's not that easy to pass on this course. There are very few passing zones. Can Ricky do it? We'll find out when we return.
completely restyled the Katana 600 and 750, from their dual halogen headlights to their 4-in-1 stainless steel exhausts.
Same time tomorrow? Yeah.
So now they're just as impressive on the
Way out in front is Jason McCormick. Brock Sellards, though, is getting the big test on the final lap from Ricky Carmichael. The white flag lap. Carmichael has done an amazing job coming all the way back to battle for second. There he makes the pass. He looks back to make sure the black pass will stick.
That pass was already made, if you ask me, and he kind of stopped. And again, one of those sort of look over unnecessary deals. He needs to be thinking about catching McCormick, if he even knows McCormick's
I wonder,
out there.
that was my question, David. Does he really know that McCormick is in front of him? We know that. Number 36 has ridden a mistake-free, fast, near-perfect race here at Washougal in the second moto.
That was an amazing pass, though. Carmichael just hit that jump flat out, landing completely. That's slippery. It was one of those sections in this track I hated, as a matter of fact. Going into that right-hand corner, and he makes the pass right there.
Here's McCormick on the final lap. He looks back to check to see how far back Ricky Carmichael is. And for all we know, he could think that those guys are lappers up there. Carmichael will not win the overall just by passing Sellards, as we mentioned. Sellards won the first moto. Got a 3-point advantage on Ricky Carmichael.
You can hear the fans. They are loving this right now. They are so happy for Jason.
It's pure joy here in the Pacific Northwest. And Jason, incidentally, despite the fact that he had a 5th place finish in the first moto, would take a 3rd overall by winning this moto. So he'll be on the podium if he keeps it up around a few more turns and through the whoops.
Sellards is doing the math in his head and getting the pit board. He'll realize that even though Carmichael got around him, he still should get the overall unless McCormick makes a mistake in the next 100 yards. Look at people are out in the track. That's great.
They're fired up as Jason McCormick comes down the whoop section. Only one left turn remains, and then you'll see the checkered flag for the first time. Jason McCormick, you think he's happy? Whoa, and the Planet Honda crew, that's their very first moto win. You know, Ricky Carmichael just went by, looked back and said, like, what's the celebration about? I think he still feels that he won the race. Jason McCormick, capping off a great day. He announced earlier that he signed a multi-year deal with Planet Honda. What a great day for Jason. Ricky Carmichael comes in second in Moto 2. Let's go to Davey.
Oh, man, how's it feel? You started out as a mini bike rider here, an amateur here, privateer through the years, and now you're the race winner at Washougal.
This is a dream come true, man. Finally. Well, I don't know what to say. I'm speechless. We finally pulled it off. This is actually, I think I could have won 2 more races this year, but we just had some bad luck, and I knew I had it, and I finally did. This is good momentum into Millville.
What a great place to do it. You got about 30,000 of your closest friends here. It seems like everyone's a McCormick today. The Planet Honda guys are going nuts. It had to have been a great feeling, but tell me about the second moto. You got a good start, man. You just checked out.
Yeah, I finally got off the line good, and I was banging bars up front. I wasn't going to give up, and just got by those guys, started checking out a little bit. It was tough. Brock was on the gas today, and got to put it to him. It didn't take very long for me to pull out, and he was right there, but eventually I did start a yard in there towards the end, and that's all I needed to feel comfortable. Then I saw Ricky coming and say, I'll turn it up these last 2 laps just to make sure, and that's all I needed was I got it finally.
All right, congratulations, Jason. Anyone you want to thank?
Oh, I got to thank Pro Grip and Planet Honda, Pro Grip, Michelin Tires, DeMarini Handlebars, FMF Racing, Sunstar, Alpenstar, my mechanic Brent works real hard. I got to thank everybody that came out today, my mom, of course, and my girlfriend Brooke for coming out and being here.
Right on, Jason.
Thanks.
How do you please 2 guys on the same day? Well, if you're Brock Sellards, you get your very first 125 overall victory. He is probably just as happy as Jason McCormick, whom we just left. Let's go back to Davey now, who's with Brock.
Well, man, that's it. You just won a Pro National. It's got to be a dream come true, Brock.
Yeah, you know, it's probably one of the biggest dreams I've ever had, you know, other than winning a championship. But,
you know, it's, you know, like short-term goals and, you know, keep going until you finally reach your long-term ones. But really, really happy. I mean, the track was great out here, and, you know, I just felt good, and my Honda was getting out of the gate really good.
We were kind of nervous watching the end of that moto because we saw Carmichael coming. We were worried that you didn't know that you didn't have to beat Ricky, but it looks like you went for it all the way to the finish. The bonsai pass, he got you.
Well, you know, I knew that he could pass me and I'd still win because Jason was checked out, and I knew there's no way he was going to catch him. So I just played it smart. I pushed as hard as I can because I wanted to beat Jason. I wanted a 1-1, you know, but after so long, I just, you know, I couldn't run that pace any longer. It's not that I was tired or anything. That was just an extremely fast pace.
So Ricky Carmichael only drops 1 point. He's 98 points in front of Brock Sellards in the points list, but now he must win 3 of the final 3 races if he hopes to break Mark Barnett's 125 career win mark of 25 victories. Only microseconds made the difference in the first 250 moto with Doug Henry winning. Can he sweep for the 2nd consecutive week? Or might Jeremy McGrath in his return capture a moto victory? We'll be right back.
The swamp zone.
Down here on the starting gate for the 2nd and final 250 moto, Doug Henry, 3 moto wins in a row going back to Kenworthy. You got to think that last week might have been lucky, but after that first moto, you got to think that he's the favorite. Late season charge for Doug Henry. The guy's been full of miracles and surprises his whole career, but I got to say, this is exceptional. With McGrath here, with Albertine going for the title, no one expected Henry to wake up, but he has. And I got to think in the 2nd moto on this track, might be 4 in a row.
That might be a pretty good bet.
That is, yes, on paper. I thought that about the Carmichael in the 125, but that didn't pan out. So it really comes down to the start. But, you know, Henry has just been amazing here at this track.
32nd board up. Now it's down 5 to 10 seconds. The gate will drop a moto number 2 with the 250s here at Washougal, Washington. They're off and running. McGrath gets a pretty good start. Whoa, Lusk! That's number 4, Ezra Lusk. Robbie Rayner getting hung up. Spud Walters, his bike is down. What another bad break for Ezra Lusk.
This is where the problems start. Look right here. These guys are already getting hooked up. That gets number 17, Rayner, a little off balance. Then Ezra Lusk on the back of Koikita, high sides. Bam, down on the collarbone. Spud Walters up over the bars. Rayner, that's the 3rd week in a row in a first corner incident. He's gone down. Look at Button.
And
Looks
this
like
was the hole shot on the outside. Larry Ward was credited with the hole shot on the inside, but Button went up on that berm.
He just about went out and shook hands with the crowd. And that cost him the hole shot, but still a pretty good start.
So Larry Ward of Team Suzuki gets his first hole shot of the year. Doug Henry, number 1. Jimmy Button. Then Tim Ferry, number 20 in the Chaparral Yamaha.
Not too bad a start for Mike LaRocco. McGrath just going by there on the left. Albie just in front of LaRocco, so those guys are in good position. And Emick, not too bad since he didn't score points in the first moto and had to start just in the weeds. He pulled it off.
How would you like to be in Ezra Lusk's position? 31st in the first moto and then going down in the first turn.
I'd rather be up here in the booth. That's just horrible. I mean, every time he tries to just get something going, it just, nothing happens at all, or something bad happens. I feel really bad for the guy.
Tim Ferry, who had an 8th in the first moto, is looking pretty good here in the 2nd. Larry Ward turns the corner. He's got some distance, though, on Doug Henry this time as they come through that little whoop section through the trees.
That was beautiful. Ward came out of that corner on the power, wheelied through that whoop section like that was flat, pulled a little bit of a gap there.
Kevin Windham right behind Albertine, who's in 5th.
Ward was fast the first moto, and it was important that he held off LaRocco at the end there too, because that's another point he gave to his teammate Albertine in the championship.
And who knows, it could come down to that. With 3 more events after Washougal, Tim Ferry's in a battle with a 4-stroke Yamaha. Ferry with the independent Chaparral Yamaha team. And of course, Button with Team Yamaha. Jimmy Button, number 10. Looking so strong after that 3rd place in the first moto.
He is getting a real attack from Ferry right now, and he covered his lines pretty well, and just until he got to the point where he could use that power and get a little gap.
David, it was just a couple of weeks ago that Jimmy was telling us in the interview that he's still learning the bike.
Well, he was talking about changing his style a little bit, and he's only had it 7 months to get used to it. And I kind of thought, geez, 7 months. I mean, you can learn another language in that amount of time. But, you know, I've never tried to get used to a four-stroke, so it's unfair for me to make that accusation. And thinking back, it took Henry right there quite a while to get used to it. But once he did, he's dialed in. It seems to be an advantage.
And Jimmy Button came up with an 8th place overall at Red Bud, a 5th place at Unadilla, another 8th place at Troy. Obviously getting more used to it. And look at that, Albertine.
He made a little mistake right there. Art, watch this. He comes into the corner, stalls it. Quick reflexes, bump starts it. Even quicker by Wyndham to miss him. Look at that. Got a little slide going, feet up, clutches it, wheelies away, and makes that pass.
Henry, Button, and Ferry. And then Greg Albertine after Wyndham.
Now, every time these guys are near each other, Albie and Kevin, they got to be thinking, points, points. I need to beat this guy. I need somebody between myself and him to get even more. So that was a significant pass right there and a mistake by Albie.
Larry Ward is our leader as we see him come through the whoop section. Doug Henry in 2nd, Button in 3rd, and Ferry swish-tailing in 4th. Larry Ward, like our winner in the 2nd 125 Moto, Jason McCormick, was raised right here in the state of Washington. The fans are with him. We'll be right back. A couple of 4-strokes going by, and then the 2-stroke of Tim Ferry. The battle for 2nd is on behind Larry Ward.
The 2 4-strokes, that's got to make so much noise. Ferry's back there going, I can't hear my bike. Listen to those things. And now's the roost. Kevin talked about the roost from Henry that first moto. Now he's got 2 of them this time. If he can get up there.
Bar to bar, Button makes the jump pass. And he holds on to it. So Jimmy Button has passed his teammate, Doug Henry.
That was pretty slick.
It was.
I'm not sure how he really even did that, to tell you the truth. I think Doug actually made a little mistake on the approach to that ski jump, and Button was all over it. He wasn't following, so he could take advantage.
Button with a 3rd place in the first moto has now moved into 2nd. It'll be interesting to see if he can hold on. What an overall finish. He's might have his best overall finish ever on a 250.
He just seems to be on a roll today. Button has those times when he's riding well, and his head is into it, everything's going right. He's amazing. I'd like to see him keep that up.
Albertine in a good position right behind Wyndham. Wyndham would pick up a couple of more points if it stayed that way.
Wow, that was...
Tim Ferry now is giving Doug Henry a challenge.
That reminded me of Bradshaw a couple of years ago, the way he went out and smacked that wall. He was laid over, dragging the clutch lever around that corner. He just didn't quite have the angle on Henry to make the pass.
So Tim Ferry wants a piece of the former champion. Nice angle coming off that jump.
Guys on the inside heading into those woods have had the advantage. He couldn't quite do it. He's got to go wide, but at least he's working. He's keeping Doug going, what do I got to do to keep him back? Doug's thinking about Tim, I guarantee it. That's half the battle.
And Wyndham is right there to possibly take an advantage as well. Tim Ferry's done a good job with his new ride. Mid-season, signing with Chaparral.
Well, support does a lot for you mentally, and look at how closely all these guys are. Feeling a little bit better mentally makes all the difference.
Here comes Ferry to the inside on Doug Henry. So not only Jimmy Button has passed Henry, but Tim Ferry has also made the move on him, and Kevin Wyndham is right behind him once again.
He's probably going, man, why couldn't I have done that at the finish of the first 250 moto? We'll go right around the outside. Doug left a little gap there.
Wyndham. He's putting the test now to Doug Henry, and a big leaping jump by Kevin Wyndham.
Henry right here has got to be a little puzzled, and it probably doesn't feel like he's riding poorly. I mean, I don't see him making big mistakes or anything, but everyone's just stepped it up and riding right around him. Now he's got Albie next in line that he'll have to defend his position again, and that should give an advantage to Wyndham and Ferry, who just made the passes.
Albie on the follow right now. Let's go down to the mechanics area.
I don't know if it's early enough to start counting the laps, but the way it is right now, the overall's between you guys and Wyndham.
Yeah, Wyndham's about maybe 6 or 7 seconds back. He's on the move, though. But I think Jimmy may move past Ward. He seems to be gaining a little bit of time. we'll just have to see how it pans out.
Let me ask you a question about strategy. Are you going to tell Jimmy that that is the overall?
You know, I don't know if I want to get him nervous quite yet, but a few more laps will definitely inform him that that will be for the overall, so he can maybe light a little bit of fire under his butt.
Side by side, Albertine and Henry. Albie wants to move up another notch, getting closer to Kevin Windham. Henry with the edge. Albertine comes right back, and Albertine slips by Henry. So Henry now has dropped 5 positions in the last 2 laps.
I think we're looking at a little bit of momentum shift. Albie is desperate. Henry has just lost a little bit of that fire.
Ward's crew finding the answers. That means a good thing for Albie, his teammate.
I held this team up through the Supercross season, had a lot of podiums, had the win in Seattle, and now Greg's taking over outdoor, and he's leading the series and looks like he's going to win the championship. And last weekend I beat Larato 1 moto and beat Windham 1 moto, and it felt really good to help Greg out a little bit. And you know, that's my goal for the rest of the year, is to win a national and help Greg out as much as I can so that Suzuki can win a championship.
There's Albertine, number 8, cutting into the corner, trying to move up the ladder. He had a 4th in the first moto. Larry Ward is still our leader here in moto number 2. Button in second.
It's been hot in Georgia and humid, and I think I'll be fine. You know, it seems like every year I come here, it affects me a little less.
Well, I think it's really important whenever you come to a place that's been known to be kind of warm. It's really important to get hydrated, and really that's one of the main things you do. You know, you try to get accustomed to the heat as much as you can. For me, it's a little easier because I'm from the south, and it's pretty warm down there. So mainly just drink your fluids and you know, eat a lot of fruit the day of the race, and get as used to it as you can.
One of the riders who excels in the heat, Ezra Lusk, here's his formula on how to beat it.
Be used to the heat, obviously. Just stay out in the heat, you know, all day, even at the race. You know, try not to lose too many fluids, but just stay out in the heat. Make sure you're used to it, and during the week at home, just, you know, ride a lot in it, you know, wear thick shirts and not really wear what you're going to race in. Just wear thick shirts, sweatshirts, and get used to it.
Back to the action, second moto, 250s at Washougal. Windham in 3rd. Ferry and Albertine are going at it right behind him. Windham setting himself up really for a very fine overall finish.
Henry has just spent this entire moto holding people up. Now he's got Larato, and that's not going to be easy. Remember that in our flashback, trying to hold off Henry, or Larato rather, for the second moto win. Trying to pull it off again here today.
Tim Ferry's best moto finish was a 6th, and that was all the way back at Mount Morris, the 3rd round of the year. He's trying to hold on to this position against a very determined points leader, Greg Albertine.
That was impressive. Albie got out of that corner, got on the gas, and it was like he was riding a 500. He just hooked up.
Lots of jump passes in this moto. Look at here. Ward is battling with Jimmy Button. Button's got the edge on the inside. Boxes him out as they go into the trees.
That was beautiful. He just crossed over the line. Same place he passed McGrath in the first moto. Worked again right here for the lead. He's inspired right now. I don't know if Ward can get him back, but he's certainly going to try because this crowd is behind him.
Larry Ward now in 2nd place, trying to get back on top of Jimmy Button. Boy, wouldn't this be something? 4 strokes, sweeping at Washougal, but 2 different ones. That would be a first time. So Jimmy Button is our new leader. Our Suzuki trivia question: when was the last time that a Suzuki rider won here at Washougal in the 250s? The answer when we come back.
AMA Motocross is brought to you by Honda Motorcycles and the 1999 Honda Race Team. Honda, ride red.
Welcome back to Washougal. The battle is underway for the lead. Jimmy Button, Larry Ward, and then Kevin Windham. It's the white flag lap, the final lap, and 3 riders separated by only 2 seconds after a near photo finish in our first moto. Wow, what a way to cap it off. Our Suzuki trivia question: when was the last time that a Suzuki rider won at Washougal? It was Mike Larato on a 250 in 1996. Back and forth we go. Jimmy Button holding on. We've got a lapper involved as well. Windham looking for any chance to move up in the standings. Jimmy Button, should he hold on to the top position in this moto, would win his very first 250 national overall. I asked Jimmy, has he stepped up his training any this season?
Yeah, for sure. I definitely been putting in the work. I've been, you know, busting my butt all year, really, you know, doing more than I ever have. And I think at one point in the year, I've maybe even training a little bit too hard. But I've been training hard, working hard, you know, putting in the hours during the weekend. The last few weeks, my consistency is starting to come back a little bit, and starting to ride the bike a little bit better too. So everything's, you know, coming together. Took a little bit longer than I expected, but you know, I'm still learning the bike, you know, every week.
He's learned it pretty well here today as he laps Ezra Lusk going into the woods right now. We've mentioned many times this is one of the most competitive seasons ever. Well, he could become the 7th different rider to win in 9 events this year in the 250 class.
Kevin has got kind of the bum deal of trying to get through the lappers and lost some time.
Ward, though, is picking up now on Jimmy Button. On this last lap, we could have a great finish again. 2 out of the first 3 motos this afternoon have been just outstanding finishes.
Button is just floating over this racetrack. As long as he doesn't leave the door open somewhere. That was one spot right there, but Ward wasn't close enough to take advantage.
Coming out of these woods, you only have a turn to the right, and then you hit the whoop section down to the finish line.
Wow, Ward made up some time.
He sure did. Down the whoop section, here is the race right now. The checkers are waiting for these guys. Jimmy Button. Ward, whoa, he almost landed on him. Ward cuts to the inside, but Jimmy Button holds on for a great, great victory. Jimmy Button indeed becomes the 7th different rider to win this season in 9 races. Down in the victory lane area, our Davey Coombs is with a very tired Jeremy McGrath.
All right, Jer, how's it feel to be back in the Motocross Nationals?
Ah, shoot, I got a little tired that time. Had a bad start, but it's fun to be out here, you know. It's I've been missing it, been sitting at home, and need something to do.
I got to tell you, you're not going to believe it won the overall.
Button win the overall? Yeah. Oh, man, that's awesome, man. Great job for Yamaha. That's awesome. You know, I know he's been working hard, and he's been looking for that all year. I just wish I could have got a little better start that second moto, but congratulations for Yamaha.
It was a pleasure watching you out here again, Jer.
Thanks a lot. You know, it's going to take a little time to get used to it again.
Which race are we going to see at again?
I'm probably going to go to the next one, Millville, and you know, we'll see from there.
So Larry Ward's all-out effort to take the win away from Jimmy Button didn't work, as Button is busting his buttons with a 3-1 overall victory. Kevin Windham and Doug Henry also on the podium. Let's go back to Davey, who's with Jimmy Button.
Well, for the first time ever, man, congratulations. Welcome to the winner's circle of a Pro National.
This is everything. This is it. 250 National. I can't say nothing but just thank my team, Yamaha, Bridgestone Tires, my mechanic, Keith, JR, Bob, Steve. He ain't here this weekend, but Steve, I got it for you, buddy. It paid off. Everything I've done all my life has paid off today. And 10 years ago, this is my first national, and I guess 10 years to the day I win my first national. So hopefully I can just live in it today and then work on it next week.
I know your dad was here for your first national, and we watched him through the fence. I think he was even more excited than you are right now.
Yeah, this is great. Me and my mom and dad are here. They haven't been too many races this year. My girlfriend, Christy. All my boys are here. This is it. This is the greatest day of my life so far, and I'm pumped. I'm stoked. That was the longest lap of my life, that last lap. I couldn't believe how long I think the thing took 10 minutes to get around the lap, but I held on and I got it. I'm stoked.
Hey, David. Right on.
So Wyndham's fine day here today draws him to within 26 points of Albertine. 3 races left on the schedule. Let's go back to Davey, who's with Kevin.
You got 3 races left, 6 motos to go to catch Albertine. Let it all hang out from the end?
Yeah, we're definitely going to be letting it all hang out. I'm not even going to keep track of points from here on out. Just go out every moto and you know, try to do the best I can and you know, just keep inching away at it.
You can't get much better racing than we saw today here at Washougal, Washington. 3 of the 4 motos decided by inches. Our congratulations to Jimmy Button for his very first 250 victory.
We hope you can join us from Millville, Minnesota for round number 10 of AMA Motocross. Art Ekman for David Bailey, Davey Coombs, thanks for being with us. This has been a production of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For more information, log on to ESPN.com. Part of the Go Network, go.com.
With his second win of the season, South African Greg